All right, so is everybody cool? Now, what did I say was the third thing you were going to screw up? You don't keep factoring. Can I factor here?
Yes.
This side? No, why not, Tiana? Because it's positive. So this guy isn't factoring anymore. What about this guy? Doesn't that have a square root? What is it? X to the fourth. Noticing that 16 got me 8, so 8 must get me 4. Does that have a square root? What is it? So x4 plus 1, and then x to the fourth minus 1. Am I done? Why not? What is that? Does that have a square root? What is it? X squared. Does that have a square root? So I got to keep going. X squared plus 1, x squared minus 1. Am I done yet? No. Why? Because of that one. X to the 8th plus 1. X to the 4th plus 1. X squared plus 1. Square root of that? X plus 1 and x minus 1. Am I done now? Yes, because x has no square root. Everybody good? And I gave you that one on purpose at the beginning because it's the mistake that you all make with factoring all the time. You do one step and you think you're done. You got to look at the whole thing and go until it's finished. Jovan. Same thing as up here. The middle term won't drop out. So if I had x to the 8th plus 1, square root of 8 is x to the 4th, right? Square root of 1 is 1. Now, if I'm going to square that, x to the 4th times x, there's my x to the 8th, right? X to the 4th, if that's positive, x to the 4th times 1 is x to the 4th, correct? And then I would have another x to the 4th, which would mean I would have 2x to the 4th, wouldn't I? And I'm not allowed to because I don't have a middle term here. Cool? That's why positives don't work. Now that you've seen one go all the way down, you know how to do it. Everything else is just a variation of what you already know. So, look at the next one. You would know how to do it if it was just that, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? How do you do that? Is it a perfect square? Yep. So is that a perfect square? Yep, because we've done our list. So it must be x plus 15 and x minus 15, correct? Okay. Now what would it be? It would be y, wouldn't it? Y minus plus 15 and y minus 15. And now it's done. Do you ever need to worry if you've done it right or not? Do you? No, because you can check. What is xy times xy? X squared, y squared, isn't it? X squared, y squared. What is xy times negative 15? Negative 15xy. What is positive 15 times xy? Positive 15xy. And what is positive 15 times negative 15? Negative 225. Middle terms cancel. Xy squared minus 225, which was my original thing. Do you ever need to worry if you've done it right? No, because you can expand it. If it doesn't expand to that, then you have to worry. Everybody good? All right. Tell me what's different about 3. The variable's z instead of x. Does anything change? No. Does z to the 8th have a square root? Yes. How do you know that? What is it about z to the 8th that makes you automatically know it has a square root? Pardon? It's an even number because you half the exponents, right? So that must be, what is my first term? Z to the 4th. Plus, what is my second term? 12. Then I just write it again. Now, some of you are going to say, haha, you're not fooling me, Myers. I need to keep going there. Do I? Why not? 12 doesn't have a square root. Everybody cool? Everybody good? Okay. What's different in 4? There's 2 numbers. But if the first one and the second one are both perfect squares, can I follow my rules? Are they? What's the square root of 4? 2. What's the square root of x to the 6th? X cubed. Plus, what's the square root of 25? 5. What's the square root of y squared? Y. Then I just write it again. Okay. Is everybody good? All right. That's the easy stuff. Now, when I leave that much white space, what does that mean? There's variations on what could happen here. But they are just that. They are variations. They are not anything different. So let's start with a super easy variation. Number 5. Let's go with 27x to the 5th minus 12y. 12x. What would you do with that? Pardon? Greatest common factor. What is it? 3 what? 3x. Okay. So now I rewrite 3x. And what do I have here now? 9x what? To the 4th minus what? 4. Now that should be easy for everybody, right? What do I do? Does that have a square root? What is it? 3. Does x to the 4th have a square root? What is it? X squared. Plus, does 4 have a square root? What is it? 2. And then I just write it again. Everybody good with that one? Easy peasy, right? Gagging. Pardon me? Because I have to double distribute to get back to this. And if it's not a negative, I'm going to have a middle term here. It's not going to drop out. Right? That's why I did all this up here. Positive, negative makes the middle term disappear. It's positive 4 minus 4. Cool? All right. That's the first variation. And please notice it's not a variation, is it? Right? That's not a variation. We're cool. Let's move on to the second variation. X plus 1 squared minus 9. Now you've already seen something like this. Does this, what about this bothers you? Is it the 9 or is it the x plus 1? It's the x plus 1, isn't it? That bothers you, right? Okay. Does this bother you? A squared minus 9. Why not? Because you know how to do this in your head, don't you? What's this? Damn! What is connecting? Liar. Hey, we're back. What is this? How would you factor this green one? It would be A plus or minus 3. It doesn't matter which you put first. Plus 3. And then the reverse, right? Everyone agree? Okay. Now, what would you do if I told you that A equals x plus 1? What can I write right there? I can put in x plus 1, can't I? So this would become x plus 1 plus 3, correct? And what would this one become? X plus 1, then what? Minus 3, right? What is 1 plus 3? Because now I've got like terms, don't I? What is 1 plus 3? X plus 4. What is 1 minus 3? X minus 2. And now you factored it. Something that looks that hard. What was the trick? I took what I didn't like and I just gave it a letter. And now it's easy because that factors to that. But there were no A's in the original equation. I made this A. Am I allowed to do that? Of course I am. Because this is still A squared minus 9, isn't it? Is everybody good? I'm going to give you one of these to try by yourself. You don't even need to write it down. You can probably figure it out in your head. But if you want to write it down, go ahead. Actually, that one you're going to need to write down. I realized after I wrote 16, you're going to need to write that one down. What about that bothers you? The division? Where's division, Micah? No, dude. What part of this bothers you? Is it the 2x plus 2 or the 16? 2x plus 2. So what should I do with that? I'm going to make it another variable that makes it work for me. I like to use A. So now I've got A squared minus 16. Can I factor that in my head? What is it? A plus 4, A minus 4, correct? Were there any A's in the original equation? No, but I got an A here. But A is what? 2x plus 2. So what do I write here instead of A? 2x plus 2 plus what? 4. And then what do I write here instead of A? 2x plus 2. Then what? Minus 4. What is 2 plus 4? 2x plus 6. What is 2 minus 4? Minus 2. Now, some of you will think you're done there, are you? What can come out of there? 3? 2. What can come out of there? 2. So I'm going to bring a 2 out of there. So I get 2x plus 3, correct? And I'm going to bring a 2 out of there to get what? 2. And what did I leave inside? X minus 1, because I divided the 2 out. Now I have 2 coefficients. What do they do? Multiply. What's 2 times 2? 4. X plus 3, x minus 1. Now you can see this one question has 3 of our factoring moves in it, doesn't it? 2. It has difference of squares and greatest common factor. So just because we've moved on to a new kind of factoring, can we forget about the other two? No. Now there's only one other thing that can make this difficult. And I'm not even going to make you write it down. I want you to think about it because it's that tricky. I'm going to write it down. I want you just to think. Is that something squared? Is that a difference? Is that something squared? So does that mean this is technically the same as x squared minus 4? Is it? And this, in your head, you know, is x plus 2, x minus 2, correct? You know that in your head, right? Why? What is the trick I taught you to see that? You just square root, right? We square root the first one, x. We square root the second one, 2. And we just do plus and minus in the middle, right? I've shown you why it works. We've foiled it all out. We've shown you the pieces falling away and disappearing. Everyone's cool with that in their sleep, right, Jacob? So, oh, I see what you're saying. I started with x squared, so I end with x and x. I'm not sure what you're asking me. I get that I think you're onto something, but I don't know. Let's just wait a second and see if things work out. Okay? Now, when I gave you this, x minus 7 squared minus 16, what did we do with the x minus 7? We gave it another letter, right? Because then it turns into this, doesn't it? Okay, well, what if I reversed it? And I did 16 minus x minus 7. I would have to put the letter over here, wouldn't I? I've got that letter over here. Are these both the same things? Is x minus 7 the same as x plus 2? They are? No, they're not the same. So can I give them the same letter? So if I make that a squared minus b squared, I'm cool, right? And we all know I got to take the square root of the first one, right? What's the square root of a squared? A. And then I add the square root of the second one. What's the square root of b squared? B. And then I do a minus b, correct? Everybody with me so far? Where did you get lost? Can you do that? Really? You can do that. Because I asked like 7 times if everyone was cool, and everybody let me go on. Can you do this? No. Oh, okay. Can you do this? That is x squared plus 4x minus 4x minus 16, right? Those then drop out and I get x squared minus 16, yes? Okay. If that is the product and that is the factors, then do you see the relationship? X squared, if I take the square root of x squared, I get x and x. If I take the square root of 16, I get 4 and 4. Do you understand that? Okay. And we did that last day with a 0 in the middle to show you squared and 9. It was the same thing. Are you cool to there? Awesome. So that means you understand this side of things, yes? Now, if that happens once in math, how often does it happen? Always. So if I had b squared minus 9, what would it be? B plus 3 and minus 3. Excellent. What if I had m squared minus 64? What would it be? And? Excellent. What if I had 4 minus x squared? What would it be? 2 and 2 minus x. Okay, what if I had 16 minus 9m squared? What would it be? Okay, now you're good. All right, so now, is this something squared? Just like here, something squared. Yeah? Is this something squared? Just like here, because 4 is really 2 squared, right? Okay, now, since it's written this way, it looks ugly and it scares us, right? But if I say that A equals x minus 7 and B equals x plus 2, then what can I write there instead of x minus 7? A equals x minus 7. What can I write there? A squared, right? Minus x minus 2, x plus 2. What can I write there? B squared. Now, isn't this exactly the same as this? Because this is x squared minus 2 squared. Something squared minus something squared, yes? And I know if I ever have that, I just square root both and write it out, correct? So what's the square root of A squared? A. Good job. A. Plus, what's the square root of B squared? B. And then what do I do? I write it again with a minus, correct? Were there any A's and B's up in the original equation? No, so I have to go back to what the original equation looks like. A is x minus 7, isn't it? Okay, so A is x minus 7. Plus, what's B? X plus 2. Agreed? That's this first bracket. Everybody cool? I didn't want you writing this down because you can see it gets a little complicated, but it's not actually complicated, is it? When you slow down and look at it, you're cool. What's A? X minus 7. Minus, what's B? X plus 2. Now, do you see some like terms? What is x plus x? 2x. 2x. What is negative 7 plus 2? Negative 5. Is everybody cool down the left side? All right. Now go to the right side. What is x minus x? Here's an x. Take it away. 0. What is negative 7 minus 2? Negative 9. And now this is done. Everybody good? If you can do this, you can do this. And let me tell you something. This move is always allowed. Okay? Let me give you an example of a really crazy hard factoring question, and then I'm going to let you work for a bit. That looks frightening, doesn't it? Be honest. How many of you look at that and think, I got this? How many of you look at that and see that it looks like something that you've got? Right. What do you notice about this whole thing and that exponent? It's something squared, right? What do you notice about that? But it has a square root, doesn't it? So isn't this the same as a squared minus 9? So wouldn't this be a plus 3, a minus 3? But this is a. Can I do anything with a? What would I do with a? I could factor that, couldn't I? What the hell? Betty is running to the announcements. No, sit down, Martin. It's 9:15.
Please disregard that bell. Stay in your period 1A block. Please disregard the bell. Thank you.
8 people work in the office. Everybody cool? Now, what's a? X squared plus 13x plus 42 plus 3. What's that? X squared plus 13x plus 45, correct? And this is x squared plus 13x 42 minus 3 plus 39. Now, do those look like things you can possibly work with? Yes, you might be able to factor those. If you can, what would you do? No. If you could factor this, it would be numbers that multiply to 45 and add to 13, yes? And you would if you could. Over here, it would be numbers that multiply to 39 and add to 13. And you would if you could. Now, the way I've written this question, you can't. But it's possible that you might have to factor again. But you'll notice this rule helps you all the time. Anytime you see something you don't like that makes something look complicated, make it simple. Okay? Okay. Go with page 134. 134 is practice. 135 is 4 marks. Because 135 has everything we've done on it. Now, you guys can start working right now. I'm going to write all this out. I'm going to add it. It'll add to the recording, and it'll be on the end of the lecture. You can check it if you wish, if you don't feel you're doing it right. But you don't need to check it, do you? Because you can always just expand your answers and see if you got it right. Everybody good? Okay. Yep, of course. Yeah.
Wait, can we do like a 3-part one on that one?
Yeah, I don't really.
Oh wait. I was gonna ask him I didn't, right? But then you're gonna be all like, nah, you can just check yourself, right?
I didn't want to screenshot. You can hold it down.
I'll do number 1.
Can I give you my marks to the exponent, please?
You just keep screenshotting. No, I want
The exponent quiz?
Yeah, quiz 1 and 2. From like a while ago.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
it's
just wrote
11
something on So for the first one I said 12.
Yes, it's probably because I dropped it like 5 times yesterday.
So for the
From,
first one I got 12
lots
out
of
of 12.
height.
For the second one I got
Why?
I gotta carry it.
No, I I didn't like purpose. The second one, it just looks up. I'm very careless with this phone. Yeah. Because I know I'll be getting a new one. But not too soon.
That's like, if you don't want
I don't. Yeah. Anyway.
yeah, I guess we'll go through
There are the first 6 to make sure. That's how long that should take. What should you try first? GCF. Hint, hint, look at number 7. Everybody good? This is recorded. The rest will be recorded as well. Indeed, it is due Monday. Leasley, it's recorded. All right. Go.
Mr. Myers, do you have Instagram? Can I send you this video?
Nope. Because it is just the same usual crap. Don't use math in real life. And then I can give you 1,000 times when you use math every day, and it won't change your mind.
When can I use this?
Huh?
Like that, remember you told us you can't use this.
Factoring has no use except in math. If you don't wish to go further in math, why would you take this course? There is another course you could have taken that will end your math career in high school. But if you take this course, you obviously want to go further in math, which means you shouldn't care about whether it can be done in real life or not. You are here because you want to go further in math, which means your real life must include further math, which means you should just do this. Right? And yet, every year, I have to deal with that question. Doesn't matter what examples I give. When in real life do you get on a conveyor belt and run to nowhere? In real life.
Treadmill.
No. That's not real life. Treadmills are pretend. They are pretending for you to pretend to run. When you run, you get from point A to point B in real life. If I get up and run, I move. That's real life. This is not. Okay? When in real life do I get a comfy bench and a perfectly weighted bar that is perfectly level so I can lift it up and put it back down while I am lying down? When in real life does that happen? Exactly. And yet you have no problem going to the gym to do something that you will never do in real life. So you can say to your buddies, what do you bench? Right?
Yeah.
And yet you have no problem doing that. But if I ask you to exercise the only thing in your body that you should care about, your brain, when am I ever going to do this in real life?
Yeah, but isn't bench press just to shape
What
your
did you get for
muscles?
5? I don't remember. I didn't
Really, like,
What?
Okay, again, see, you couldn't be missing my point more.
yeah, I got your point.
No, you don't, because of what you're saying.
When
Why do you go to a gym?
Get in better shape.
No.
To get in better shape.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're right. Yeah.
What is
Yeah, you're
100%
right.
guaranteed to fail you later in life?
Yeah, that.
No.
That's negative.
Your body. It doesn't matter what you do. Stephen Hawking
No, one is positive, one
found the
is negative.
secrets of the universe
And then negative times
from a body that looked like this. Did it matter No, because what worked? His brain. Yet if I ask you to exercise your brain,
Yes, I agree with what
I get, when am I ever going to do this in real life? Why should I have to?
It's 60 divided by 4.
I'll give you another example. Do you want the guy cutting into your heart to be the guy that says, when am I ever going to need to know this in real life? Or do you want him to be the guy that says, damn, I better know as much as I can about every damn thing because I'm going to be cutting into somebody's heart later? Which do you want?
That guy.
Damn right. Do you want the guy working on your brakes
X.
that is like, I don't need to know how to do decimals. I don't have to adjust anything. I'm just going to put them on there. It'll be
X
fine.
minus 12.
Or do you want the guy who recognizes that an eighth of an inch is 0.125? You want that guy. Picking up what I'm putting down? So stop with the horse crap and exercise your brain.
Yeah, because negative 12 plus negative
Or-
12 plus negative 16 and negative 12 plus negative 5
Or
plus
be prepared to spend the rest of your life doing stuff that you don't need a brain for. Why do you think people hate their jobs? Because the jobs suck, because they're brainless and repetitive. Right? You know why the guy washing dishes in the busy restaurant hates it? Because he's sick of put in the tray, slide the tray, pull the knob, 30 seconds, pull the tray out, put the dishes away, turn around, holy crap, another pile of dishes. Right? You think the chef in that restaurant worries about the dishes? No, the chef does everything. Did the chef sit around in high school going, I did nothing? Or did the chef work hard? You make your decision. I will never force a decision on you people. Because the other thing I hear from you guys is, why you treat us like kids? We're adults. Okay, act like it.
But like, let's say I wanted to open a jiu-jitsu gym,
Uh-huh.
and my family already has the money.
Okay.
So, and all I would need to know is how to do jiu-jitsu.
I love that you think that.
And
Do you know what happens to everybody that wins the lottery? 5 years later, they're broke.
I got a call from like Mrs.
Broke.
Like
Why?
Like 6 o'clock.
They had all the money they needed. Why are they
Barely
broke?
pick up. And like I thought it was my alarm. I'm like,
'Cause they
"I
didn't
so
know how to
hungry,"
handle it.
And then I see him like, who the hell is calling?
Right?
I'm like,
Doesn't matter how much
I
money you got.
put it away.
If you don't know how to run that money,
I usually
doesn't
wake up
matter
like
how good a
30
math
minutes
or a
before
jiu-jitsu
alarm,
teacher
and
you
they
are
call at
either.
6 o'clock.
If you lose all your
And,
money,
like, I literally felt like
where are you
I
going to
slept
teach
for
you
10
jiu-jitsu?
minutes. And it
On the street corner?
40 minutes. And I'm
What do
like,
you call
"Oh,
somebody who
no,
stands on the
like,
street
I'm
corner
barely
trying to do
focusing.
something with
It's
no
like 10
nothing
minutes
around
ago.
him? A bum,
Okay, hey.
right? That guy might be the
How do
best
you not-
guitarist in the world. He can't figure out how to get into a studio and play his guitar. He's a bum, right?
Divided by 8?
So yeah, your parents have money. You think they're going to keep pouring it into your jiu-jitsu studio if you don't know what the hell you're doing?
Squared.
No, but-
And what's the number one thing you need to do?
72 divided by 8.
Tell me what you need to do to run a jiu-jitsu studio.
And
Teach
then you have
jiu-jitsu.
8,
Okay.
8 plus 3.
Charge people. So what does that mean?
Perfect.
You got to know how to do what? How are you going to charge me?
Neither do I.
credit card and
Credit card. Okay. How much does credit card cost you to use?
Well, it's
Nope.
11.
Guess again. Wrong. Guess again.
Oh, you can divide by 8.
Exactly.
You do that.
You're gonna take
adding
cash?
up, and the bell's gonna ring.
Okay. What are you going to do with the cash?
pocket it.
You're going to put it in your pocket. You're going to walk around. So cash. What's a jiu-jitsu studio a month? Karate's 110 a month per person.
So like I'm gone.
A month? Okay, you got 30 people in your jiu-jitsu studio, right? $200. Let's keep it easy.
But I don't want to go.
$200 times 30 is $6,000 a month. You're going to walk around with that in your pockets? Where are you going to put it? Which bank? CIBC. But TD offers you a better return on your investment. Your uncle works there. So you're going to go to CIBC where your uncle works, even though the bank right next door would give you better pay. Okay, wonderful. Right away, I'm not putting any money into your jiu-jitsu studio because you're an idiot. Why would I invest with you when you are going to throw money away by going to a bank that charges you more? You see my point? it's not just about teaching the jujitsu. As a matter of fact, that is the smallest part about running a jujitsu studio. Because anybody and their dog can learn to do jujitsu, can't they? How many people are in your jujitsu studio? 13. Are all of them learning how to do jujitsu?
Yeah.
Does that mean all of them could become senseis or whatever you guys call them?
No.
Exactly. And yet they can all learn jujitsu. What?
Do I need to collect like terms though? Or is it only when I have something outside of that?
No, that's done. That's beautifully done. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend. Hey.
Oh yeah, Mr. Myers, can I give you my assignment, Mark?
Why don't we wait until Monday, and I won't send an email until Monday.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because I have to collect all the other 25 students. I know. People look so stupid. When, like,
put that in my locker if you
Like
want.
I was so stupid. Can I actually?
I got leadership 20 minutes before class ends,
Morning, Mr. Myers.
so I'll be heading out.